I cried when I was born, and I shall die laughing. The war is on. What is your attitude to it? In some place or other, in some form or other, the war is always on. Was there a time when there was no war? Some say it is the will of God. Some say it is God's play. It is another way of saying that wars are inevitable and nobody is responsible. But what is your own attitude? Why impose attitudes on me? I have no attitude to call my own. Surely somebody is responsible for this horrible and senseless carnage. Why do people kill each other so readily? Search for the culprit within. The ideas of me and mine are at the root of all conflict. Be free of them, and you will be without conflict. Of what is it that I am out of conflict? I will not affect the war. If I am the cause of war, I am ready to be destroyed. Yet it stands to reason that the disappearance of 1,000 like me will not stop wars. They did not start with my birth, nor will they end with my death. I am not responsible. Who is? Strife and struggle are a part of existence. Why don't you inquire who is responsible for existence? Why do you say that existence and conflict are inseparable? Can there be no existence without strife? I need not fight others to be myself. You fight others all the time for your survival, as a separate body-mind, a particular name and form. To live, you must destroy. From the moment you were conceived, you started a war with your environment, a merciless war of mutual extermination until death set you free. My question remains unanswered. You are merely describing what I know, life and its sorrows. But who is responsible? You do not say. When I press you, you throw the blame on God or karma, or on my own greed and fear, which merely invites further questions. Give me the final answer. The final answer is this: nothing is. All is a momentary appearance in the field of the universal consciousness. Continuity as name and form is a mental formation only, easy to dispel. I am asking about the immediate, the transitory, the appearance. Here's a picture of a child killed by soldiers. It is a fact staring at you. You cannot deny it. Now, who is responsible for the death of the child? Nobody and everybody. The world is what it contains, and each thing affects all others. We all kill the child, and we all die with it. Every event has innumerable causes and produces numberless effects. It is useless to keep accounts. Nothing is traceable. Your people speak of karma and retribution. It is merely a gross approximation. In reality, we are all creators and creatures of each other, causing and bearing each other's burden. So the innocent suffers for the guilty. In our ignorance, we are innocent. In our actions, we are guilty. We sin without knowing and suffer without understanding. Our only hope? To stop, to look, to understand, and to get out of the traps of memory. For memory feeds imagination, and imagination generates desire and fear. Why do I imagine at all? The light of consciousness passes through the film of memory and throws pictures on your brain. Because of the deficient and disordered state of your brain, what you perceive is distorted and colored by feelings of like and dislike. Make your thinking orderly and free from emotional overtones, and you will see people and things as they are, with clarity and charity. The witness of birth, life, and death is one and the same. It is the witness of pain and of love. For while the existence in limitation and separation is sorrowful, we love it. We love it and hate it at the same time. We fight, we kill, we destroy life and property, and yet we are affectionate and self-sacrificing. We nurse the child tenderly and orphan it too. Our life is full of contradictions, yet we cling to it. This clinging is at the root of everything. Still, it is entirely superficial. We hold on to something or somebody with all our might, and next moment we forget it, like a child that shapes its mud pies and abandons them light-heartedly. Touch them, It will scream with anger, divert the child, and he forgets them. For our life is now, and the love of it is now. We love variety, the play of pain and pleasure. We are fascinated by contrast. For this, we need the opposites and their apparent separation. We enjoy them for the time and then get tired, and crave for peace and silence of pure being. The cosmic heart beats ceaselessly. I am the witness and the heart too. I can see the picture, but who is the painter? Who is responsible for this terrible and yet adorable experience? The painter is in the picture. You separate the painter from the picture and look for him. Don't separate and don't put false questions. Things are as they are, and nobody in particular is responsible. The idea of personal responsibility comes from the illusion of agency. Somebody must have done it. Somebody is responsible. Society, as it is now, with its framework of laws and customs, is based on the idea of a separate and responsible personality. But this is not the only form a society can take. There may be other forms, where the sense of separation is weak and responsibility diffused. An individual with a weak sense of personality, is he near self-realization? Take the case of a young child. The sense of I am is not yet formed. The personality is rudimentary. The obstacles to self-knowledge are few, but the power and the clarity of awareness in its width and depth are lacking. In the course of years, awareness will grow stronger, but also the latent personality will emerge and obscure and complicate. Just as the hotter the wood, the hotter the flame, so the stronger the personality, brighter the light generated from its destruction. Have you no problems? I do have problems, I told you already. To be, to exist with a name and form is painful, yet I love it. But you love everything. In existence, everything is contained. My very nature is to love. Even the painful is lovable. It does not make it less painful. Why not remain in the unlimited? It is the instinct of exploration, the lover of the unknown, that brings me into existence. It is in the nature of being to see adventure in becoming, as it is in the very nature of becoming to seek peace in being. This alternation of being and becoming is inevitable, but my home is beyond. Is your home in God? To love and worship a God is also ignorance. My home is beyond all notions, however sublime. But God is not a notion. It is the reality beyond existence. You may use any word you like. Whatever word you may think of, I am beyond it. Once you know your home, why not stay in it? What takes you out of it? Out of love for corporate existence. One is born, and once born, one gets involved in destiny. Destiny is inseparable from becoming. The desire to be the particular makes you into a person, and with all its personal past and future. Look at some great men. What a wonderful man he was, and yet how troubled was his life and limited its fruits. How utterly dependent is the personality of man, and how indifferent is its world. And yet we love it and protect it for its very significance. The war is on and there is chaos, and you are being asked to take charge of a feeding center. You are given what is needed. It is only a question of getting through the job. Will you refuse it? To work or not to work is one and the same to me. I may take charge or may not. There may be others better endowed for such tasks than I am. Professional caterers, for instance. But my attitude is different. I do not look at death as a calamity, as I do not rejoice at the birth of a child. The child is out for trouble, while the dead is out of it. Attachment to life is attachment to sorrow. We love what gives us pain. Such is our nature. For me, the moment of death will be a moment of jubilation, not of fear. I cried when I was born, and I shall die laughing. What is the change in consciousness at the moment of death? What change do you expect? When the film projection ends, all remains the same as when it started. The state before you were born was also the state after death, if you remember. I remember nothing, because you never tried. It is only a question of tuning in the mind. It requires training, of course. Why don't you take part in social work? But I am doing nothing else all the time. And what is the social work you want me to do? Patchwork is not for me. My stand is clear. Produce to distribute, feed before you eat, give before you take, think of others before you think of yourself. Only a selfless society based on sharing can be stable and happy. This is the only practical solution. If you do not want it, fight. It is all a matter of gunas. Where tamas and rajas predominate, there must be war. Where sattva rules, there would be peace. Put it whichever way you like, it comes to the same. Society is built on motives. Put goodwill into the foundations, and you will not need specialized social workers. The world is getting better. The world had all the time to get better, yet it did not. What hope is there for the future? Of course, there have been and will be periods of harmony and peace when sattva was in ascendance. But things get destroyed by their own perfection. The perfect society is necessarily static, and therefore it stagnates and decays. From the summits, all roads lead downwards. Societies are like people. They are born, they grow to some point of relative perfection, and then decay and die. Is there not a state of absolute perfection which does not decay? Whatever has a beginning must have an end. In the timeless, all is perfect, here and now. But shall we reach the timeless in due course? In due course we shall come back to the starting point. Time cannot take us out of time, as space cannot take us out of space. All you get by waiting is more waiting. Absolute perfection is here and now, not in some future, near or far. The secret is in action, here and now. It is your behavior that blinds you to yourself. Disregard whatever you think yourself to be and act as if you were absolutely perfect. Whatever your idea of perfection may be, all you need is courage. Where do I find such courage? In yourself, of course. Look within. Your grace will help. My grace is telling you now, look within. All you need you have, use it. Behave as best you know. Do what you think you should. Don't be afraid of mistakes. You can always correct them. Only intentions matter. The shape things take is not within your power. The motives of your actions are. How can action born from imperfection lead to perfection? Action does not lead to perfection. Perfection is expressed in action. As long as you judge yourself by your expressions, give them utmost attention. When you realize your own being, your behavior will be perfect, spontaneously. If I am timelessly perfect, then why was I born at all? What is the purpose of this life? It is like asking, what does it profit gold to be made into an ornament? The ornament gets the color and the beauty of gold. Gold is not enriched. Similarly, reality expressed in action makes the action meaningful and beautiful. What does the real gain through its expression? What can it gain? Nothing whatsoever. But it is in the nature of love to express itself, to affirm itself, to overcome difficulties. Once you have understood that the world is love in action, you will look at it quite differently. But first, your attitude to suffering must change. Suffering is primarily a call for attention, which itself is a movement of love. More than happiness, love wants growth, the widening and deepening of consciousness and being. Whatever prevents becomes a cause of pain, and love does not shirk from pain. Sattva, the energy that works for righteousness and orderly development, must not be thwarted. When obstructed, it turns against itself and becomes destructive. Whenever love is withheld and suffering allowed to spread, war becomes inevitable. Our indifference to our neighbor's sorrow brings suffering to our door. The true Guru. You were saying the other day that the root of your realization was the trust in your guru. He assured you that you were already the absolute reality, and there was nothing more to be done. You trusted him and left it at that, without straining, without striving. Now, my question is, without trust in your guru, would you have realized? After all, what are you? You are. Whether your mind trusts or not, would doubt obstruct the action of the guru's words and make them inoperative? You have said it. They would have been made inoperative for a time. And what would happen to the energy or power in the guru's words? It would remain latent, unmanifested. But the entire question is based on a misunderstanding. The master, the disciple, the love and trust between them, these are one fact. Not so many independent facts. Each is a part of the other. Without love and trust, there would have been no guru nor disciple, and no relationship between them. It is like pressing a switch to light an electric lamp. It is because the lamp, the wiring, the switch, the transformer, the transmission lines, and the powerhouse form a single whole that you get the light. Any one single factor missing, and there would be no light. You must not separate the inseparable. Words do not create facts. They either describe them or distort. The fact is always nonverbal. I still do not understand. Can the guru's words remain unfulfilled, or will it invariably prove true? Words of a realized man never miss their purpose. They wait for the right conditions to arise, which may take some time. And this is natural, for there is a season for sowing and a season for harvesting. But the word of the guru is a seed that cannot perish. Of course, the guru must be a real one, who is beyond the body and the mind, beyond consciousness itself, beyond space and time, beyond duality and unity, beyond understanding and description. The good people who have read a lot and have a lot to say may teach you many useful things, but they are not the real gurus, whose words invariably come true. They also may tell you that you are the ultimate reality itself, but what of it? Nevertheless, if for some reason I happen to trust them and obey, shall I be the loser? You are able to trust and obey, you will soon find your real guru, or rather, he will find you. Does every knower of the self become a guru, or can one be a knower of reality without being able to take others to it? If you know what to teach, you can teach what you know. Here, seership and teachership are one. The absolute reality is beyond both. The self-styled gurus talk of ripeness and effort, of merits and achievements, of destiny and grace. All these are mere mental formations, projections of an addicted mind. Instead of helping, they obstruct. How can I make out whom to follow and whom to mistrust? Mistrust all until you are convinced. The true guru will never humiliate you, nor will he estrange you from yourself. He will constantly bring you back to the fact of your inherent perfection and encourage you to seek within. He knows you need nothing, not even him, and is never tired of reminding you. But the self-appointed guru is more concerned with himself than with his disciples. You said that reality is beyond the knowledge and the teaching of the real. Is not the knowledge of the reality the supreme itself and teaching the proof of its attainment? The knowledge of the real or the self is a state of mind. Teaching another is a movement in duality. They concern the mind only. Sattva is a guna all the same. What is real then? He who knows the mind as non-realized and realized, who knows ignorance and knowledge as states of mind, he is the real. When you are given diamonds mixed with gravel, you may either miss the diamonds or find them. It is seeing that matters. Where is the grayness of the gravel and the beauty of the diamond without the power to see? The known is but a shape, and knowledge is but a name. The knower is but a state of mind. The real is beyond. Surely, objective knowledge and ideas of things and self-knowledge are not one and the same thing. One needs a brain, the other does not. For the purpose of discussion, you can arrange words and give them meaning, but the fact remains that all knowledge is a form of ignorance. The most accurate map is yet only paper. All knowledge is in memory. It is only recognition, while reality is beyond the duality of the knower and the known. Then by what is reality known? How misleading is your language! You assume unconsciously that reality also is approachable through knowledge. And then you bring in a knower of reality beyond reality. Do you understand that to be, reality need not be known? Ignorance and knowledge are in the mind, not in the real. If there is no such thing as the knowledge of the real, then how do I reach it? You need not reach out for what is already with you. Your very reaching out makes you miss it. Give up the idea that you have not found it and just let it come into focus of direct perception, here and now, by removing all that is of the mind. When all that can go goes, what remains? Emptiness remains. Awareness remains. Pure light of the conscious being remains. It is like asking what remains of a room when all the furniture is removed. A most serviceable room remains, and when even the walls are pulled down, the space remains. Beyond space and time is the here and now of reality. Does the witness remain? As long as there is consciousness, its witness is also there. The two appear and disappear together. If the witness too is transient, why is he given so much importance? Just to break the spell of the known, the illusion that only the perceivable is real? Perception is primary, the witness secondary. This is the heart of the matter. As long as you believe that only the outer world is real, you remain its slave. To become free, your attention must be drawn to the I am, the witness. Of course, the knower and the known are one, not two. But to break the spell of the knower must be brought to the forefront. Neither is primary, both are reflections in memory of the ineffable experience, ever new and ever now, untranslatable quicker than the mind. Sir, I am a humble seeker, wandering from guru to guru in search of release. My mind is sick, burning with desire, frozen with fear. My days flit by, red with pain, gray with boredom. My age is advancing, my health decaying, my future dark and frightening. At this rate I shall live in sorrow and die in despair. Is there any hope for me, or have I come too late? Nothing is wrong with you, but the ideas you have of yourself are altogether wrong. It is not you who desires, fears, and suffers. It is the person built on the foundation of your body by circumstances and influences. You are not that person. This must be clearly established in your mind and never lost sight of. Normally it needs a prolonged sadhana, years of austerities and meditation. My mind is weak and vacillating. I have neither the strength nor the tenacity for sadhana. My case is hopeless. In a way, yours is a most hopeful case. There is an alternative to sadhana, which is trust. If you cannot have the conviction born from fruitful search, then take advantage of my discovery, which I am so eager to share with you. I can see with the utmost clarity that you have never been, nor are, nor will be estranged from reality, that you are the fullness of perfection here and now, and that nothing can deprive you of your heritage, of what you are. You are in no way different from me, only you do not know it. You do not know what you are, and therefore you imagine yourself to be what you are not. Hence desires and fear, and overwhelming despair, and meaningless activity in order to escape. Just trust me, and live by trusting me. I shall not mislead you. You are the supreme reality, beyond the world and its creator, beyond consciousness and its witness, beyond all assertions and details. Remember it, think of it, act on it. Abandon all sense of separation See yourself in all and act accordingly. With action, bliss will come, and with bliss, conviction. After all, you doubt yourself because you are in sorrow. Happiness, natural, spontaneous, and lasting, cannot be imagined. Either it is there or it is not. Once you begin to experience the peace, love, and happiness, which needs no outer causes, all your doubts will dissolve. Just catch hold of what I told you and live by it. Are you telling me to live by memory? You are living by memory anyhow. I am merely asking you to replace old memories by the memory of what I told you. As you were acting on your old memories, act on the new one. Don't be afraid. For some time there is bound to be a conflict between the old and the new. But if you put yourself resolutely on the side of the new, the strife will soon come to an end, and you will realize the effortless state of being oneself, of not being deceived by desires and fears born of illusion. Many gurus have the habit of giving tokens of their grace, their headcloth or their sticks, or begging bowl or robe, thus transmitting or confirming the self-realization of their disciples. I can see no value in such practices. It is not self-realization that is transmitted, but self-importance. Of what earthly use is being told something very flattering but not true? On one hand, you are warning me against the many self-styled gurus. On the other, you want me to trust you. Why do you claim to be an exception? I do not ask you to trust me. Trust my words and remember them. I want your happiness, not mine. Distrust those who put a distance between you and your true being and offer themselves as a go-between. I do nothing of the kind. I do not even make any promises. I merely say, if you trust my words and put them to test, you will for yourself discover how absolutely true they are. If you ask for a proof before you venture, I can only say, I am the proof. I did trust my teacher's words and kept them in my mind, and I did find that he was right, and that I was, am, and shall be the infinite reality, embracing all, transcending all. As you say, you have neither the time nor the energy for lengthy practices. I offer you an alternative. Accept my words on trust and live anew, or live and die in sorrow. It seems too good to be true. Don't be misled by the simplicity of the advice. Very few are those who have the courage to trust the innocent and the simple, to know that you are a prisoner of your mind, that you live in an imaginary world of your own creation is the dawn of wisdom. To want nothing of it, to be ready to abandon it entirely is earnestness. Only such earnestness, born of true despair, will make you trust me. Have I not suffered enough? Suffering has made you dull, unable to see its enormity. Your first task is to see the sorrow in you and around you. Your next to long intensely for liberation. The very intensity of longing will guide you. You need no other guide. Suffering has made me dull, indifferent, even to itself. Maybe it is not sorrow, but pleasure that made you dull. Investigate. Whatever may be the cause, I am dull. I have neither the will nor the energy. Oh no, you have enough for the first step, and each step will generate enough energy for the next. Energy comes with confidence, and confidence comes with experience. Is it right to change gurus? Why not change? Gurus are like milestones. It is natural to move on from one to another. Each tells you the direction and the distance, while the Sadguru, the eternal Guru, is the road itself. Once you realize that the road is the goal and that you are always on the road, not to reach a goal but to enjoy its beauty and its wisdom, life ceases to be a task and becomes natural and simple, in itself an ecstasy. So there is no need to worship, to pray, to practice yoga. A little of daily sweeping, washing, and bathing can do no harm. Self-awareness tells you at every step what needs be done. When all is done, the mind remains quiet. Now you are in the waking state, a person with name and shape, joys and sorrows. The person was not there before you were born, nor will be there after you die. Instead of struggling with the person to make it become what it is not, why not go beyond the waking state and leave the personal life altogether? It does not mean the extinction of the person. It means only seeing it in right perspective. One more question. You said that before I was born, I was one with the pure being of reality. If so, who decided that I should be born? In reality, you were never born and never shall die. But now you imagine that you are, or have a body, and you ask what has brought about this state. Within the limits of illusion, the answer is desire, born from memory, attracts you to a body and makes you think as one with it. But this is true only from the relative point of view. In fact, there is no body nor a world to contain it. There is only a mental condition, a dreamlike state, easy to dispel by questioning its reality. After you die, will you come again? If I live long enough, will I meet you again? To you, the body is real. To me, there is none. I, as you see me, exist in your imagination only. Surely you will see me again, if and when you need me. It does not affect me, as the sun is not affected by sunrises and sunsets. Because it is not affected, it is certain to be there when needed. You are bent on knowledge, I am not. I do not have the sense of insecurity that makes you crave to know. I am curious, like a child is curious, but there is no anxiety to make me seek refuge in knowledge. Therefore, I am not concerned when I shall be reborn, or how long the world will last. These are questions born of fear.